Hello, warm greetings from Zamboanga, Sibugay. My name is Melinda Joy Magdayaw Javier, and I graduated from Ebenezer Bible College and Seminary in 1992. My last assignment for the last 14 years is serving as the lone guidance counselor of 3,000 students in Cabasalan National High School. In Colossians, Paul taught us that through Jesus Christ, God is able to bring full salvation. He is bringing back the world to Himself, and He is doing it minus traditions and man-made rules and expectations. I was born as a pastor's kid, and of course, I grew up in the parsonage, luyo sa simbahan. Right after high school, when I was just 15, 13, turning 16, I enrolled in Ebenezer. Therefore, I lived in a Christian bubble half of my life. The next half of my life, I worked as a newspaper editor, an assistant admin to a college president, and then in public high school with the Department of Education. This latter half of my life, I was thrown into the world. For some years, I felt a bit sad that I was outside of church. My siblings, who are all pastors themselves, and my parents too, remained in church. Every time I hear that traditional hymn we sing, "Be True," I felt that I've been untrue. And that is until my fourth year in public school, when a nun, a madre, visited me in school and looked at what I have been doing there. And on that first day we met, she took me by the hand, looked me in the eye, and declared, "Joy, all these children that you work with, each one of them, God is in them." What she said changed my whole perspective of my work. God opened my eyes to the gift that He has given me, this ministry that He has assigned me to. That whole week, every student I met, I heard God whispering, "I am in this person." The things we learn in Ebenezer, for example, the phrase, "the divine image of God in every human being," that phrase became very real to me since then. And I saw that my school was no longer just a walled campus, but my little parish, and that the work I do was not just public service, but very spiritual in nature too, as I worked with students who were abused, neglected, emotionally abandoned, confused, hurting, and lost. It was at this time that I partnered with Caritas Manila, and I adopted 30 graduates from my school and helped them through 4 to 5 years of college. We had regular formation and followed a course designed to teach young people to know God, to love God, and to serve God. Familiar, di ba? And then I had regular Bible studies with their mothers, and God led me to the realization that this little group, this was my church, and I was actually in full-time ministry. My secular school had become my sacred sanctuary. All of the 30 are now TESDA graduates or degree holders. Some of them earn more than I do, and a few of them are getting their doctorates. These are my poorest of the poor students, orphans, some of them coming from broken families. One is a product of rape, and the others are children of labandera, sika driver, and rubber tappers. These are the people I work with whose lives have been changed, all by the grace of God. I have also made it my personal advocacy to affirm people in whatever places of ministry they are in. I always say to them, "You are where God has placed you, and in this place, You are God's very presence. You are His blessing to the people around you. So, grow, bloom, thrive. Our theme is thriving amidst the pandemic. What I shared with you is pre-pandemic. And I could say that I was thriving then. Am I still thriving now? My school shut down 2 years ago. But I myself was shut down 8 months ago when I had a serious case of COVID-19 during the Delta variant surge mid-2021. I was in critical condition and I was in the hospital for 3 weeks. It was a trying time for my family because my primary caregiver was my husband who has diabetes as a comorbidity. And because our 2 younger children were left in the farm with only one helper caring for them. My husband's biggest fear was that we would both die and our children would be orphans. As you all sadly know, the same time I was in the hospital in July and August, many of our fellow pastors died, leaving grieving families behind. We shut down the news and listened to hymns and songs a lot in the hospital and received many calls from our circle assuring us of their prayers. At a time when I was really weak, in the middle of the night, I was awakened by a hand on my head gently stroking my hair. I woke my sleeping husband and told him that I had been touched by the divine. From then on, I began to heal. My hospital bill was 1.03 million in the city hospital and almost 300,000 in the provincial hospital. But God, in His mercy and grace, took care of all our concerns. My husband tested negative for COVID and our hospital bill was paid for by friends and family. We didn't even have to seek assistance from the SWD or PCSO. We had more than enough. It's been 8 months now, and I finally have to accept that even today, I am suffering from long haul COVID. My hair fell off, but as you can see, my hair has grown back. I also had allergies on my extremities, but I healed from that too. I still need oxygen at night to support my lungs, and I'm easily exhausted by any physical exertion. Clearly, I am not thriving physically. What, what does thrive mean? Thriving means doing well, doing successfully, being healthy and strong. This brings to mind John 10:10. The latter part says, I came that they may have life and have it abundantly. Thriving is living in abundance. Early on in my recovery stage, I have whittled down my priorities and recognized the non-essentials and decided to focus on my abundance. So what do I have in abundance? I have the abundance of time. I work from home, so I'm able to take things slow now. I wake up, I have coffee, and spend much time in the dulan. I enjoy the farm where I live. So, in this abundance of time, I try to just enjoy the gifts of the Lord. The silence of the farm where I live, the blessing of rain, the hatching of our chickens, the reading of books, the growth of my plants, and the examination of my faith. This is my life season where I can just be. Will God restore me to my previous energy level? He will if He has plans to put me back in the middle of things. But for now, I accept this physical weakness as my season of abundance. I am no longer the 21-year-old who left the portals of Ebenezer. I am now a 51-year-old wife, mother of 3, government worker, school counselor, and a COVID-19 survivor. I have had many fights with God. I slipped a few times in the journey, but just the same, I am forgiven, restored, and beloved of the Lord. So, 30 years after Ebenezer, my husband is turning 60 this year. My husband and I, we ask ourselves, what do we do now? We have always dreamed of running a retreat center for pastors, a dream we inherited from my father's Barnabas ministry, and also a dream born out of my husband's decision to live active priesthood and start a family with me. Toward this goal, we are developing a 5-hectare farm, and we hope to renovate a small house near the beach which we purchased just before the pandemic. So, what can a pastor and a former priest do together? We are so excited to be in this journey. One thing we do know is that God cannot give us this retreat center until I, myself, become a person of peace and rest. At napakahirap po nun. God is at work in my life. Sana hindi masyadong matigas ang ulo at puso ko. At sana naman hindi another 30 years.